Hey, all you lady dragons out there. Thanks for coming to check out the video today. So I'm super excited about this one. It came out so nice and I'm so excited to share this look with you guys. It's affordable and it's really just adorable, long-lasting style. So I started off moisturizing my hair. It is washed and conditioned. I did wash and condition my hair, so it is freshly blown out. I do have natural 4C hair, but it is blown out in this video. So again, I still use grease. I still use pink oil. Those are things that my mother put in my hair when I was a child. I put them in my daughter's hair and my son's hair, and I just stand by it. So I'll leave those links down below for the grease and the pink oil that I use. I did grab those off of Amazon. I'm using a rat tail comb just to start my braid pattern. I always start with 2 braids going across the nape of my neck. I find that it relieves the tension for me. So all my foundational braid styles, crochet styles, sew-ins, everything that I start my braid pattern with always starts with 2 braids going directly across the nape of my neck just to relieve the tension. Now I'm going to separate the front of my head from the back of my head. I use my ear as a guide, so I start separating the front from the back using my ear as a guide, and then I just go straight across. I also make sure that I'm in the middle of my head, so I always just touch where the middle of the part is and make sure it's where I want it, and I want that right at the crown of my head. So when I'm happy with that, I go ahead and tie the back away and start working with the front. I find the middle of my head by just using my rat tail comb. I lay it up where my nose is and then just go straight up from there, and that's how you know you found the middle of your hair. I start using the Stasha Harris Jam edge control. I use that for my braid patterns just to make sure all my boxes and my parts are neat. So I use that to make sure my middle part was neat. I am using a versatile braid pattern, so I will be able to wear a left side part, a right side part, and a middle part with this braid pattern for my crochets. So I like to have boxes showing all through my crochet. So this is the braid pattern that I do to make sure that my hair does not look like I have crochets over cornrows. It looks like I have crocheted individual box braids. So I start by separating a small section right above my ear. I put 2 braids in that. I use my edge control to make sure that my parts are neat. Then I section off a very thin section and just put that to the side. That's going to be used later, and I'll show you that. Then I section off another area, same size as the boxes the box braids that I created at the bottom. Make sure that's the same size. And then I go ahead and use my edge control and create 3 box braids here. Once I finish these 3 box braids, I'll show you how I move on and start the braid pattern. And this is the braid pattern that I will repeat 4 times across the front of my head to get the box braid effect foundation for my crochets. So now you can move on and use that small middle section and combine it into a cornrow. So what you're going to do is take that middle section, that's the middle leg of your braid. You're going to take the other box braid and that's the other leg. So you have 3 legs of your braid. 1 box braid, 2 are box braids, and 1 is the middle braid. And you go ahead and just braid that back in a normal cornrow, incorporating the other box braid pieces so that you basically have a lot of box sections, but a small thin cornrow in the middle, and that you will crochet over. So you'll crochet into each one of those 4 boxes, and then you'll also crochet over the cornrow, and that's how you disguise the cornrow and you make it look like you have individual box braids, but you actually have crocheted your hair. Another thing I want to point out is that I didn't incorporate that first box braid into the cornrow. You want to leave that first braid out, and that one you will actually do an individual crochet braid on there, and I will show you how that looks once I'm done. But I never incorporate that first initial braid into the cornrow because it's just too obvious and it's very difficult to disguise. So I always leave that one out, and then I cornrow the rest behind it. I also want to point out that you don't have to box braid your hair. You don't have to braid it down very far at all. Maybe 5 or 6, braid turns, and that's enough. You don't have to go all the way to the end of your hair because it's just going to be incorporated into a cornrow anyway. So don't waste too much time with that part of it. Again, here you're seeing I'm just going to take a very thin section. That's going to be the middle leg of the cornrow. Is basically what your cornrow is going to be holding on to, and then you're going to create more box braids. Now what I noticed at the top was that my section was very, very wide, and I was very confused. You saw my face. So what I ended up having to do was separate the section in two because it was just way too wide. I don't know what happened at the top here, but I just went ahead and separated into two. I went ahead and did one box braid on this section that you see me braiding now, and then I went ahead with that section and separated that again. So I don't know what happened, you guys. I've never had to do this before, but it ended up happening this way on both sides of my head. So I have the exact same braid pattern on the left side of my head as I do on this right side of my head. So yeah, if you find that your braid pattern is just a little wonky at the top, just separate it because you don't want those boxes getting too wide. So that's what the top box braids look like at the top. Again, you're going to want to leave out that those first 2 braids. So you're just going to leave those out. You're going to start your cornrow with that thin, small middle section, and then you're going to start incorporating the ends of your box braids into that cornrow as you come across the braid. Remember, you don't want those ends of braids coming in a diagonal. You want them just going straight down because that's the way it's going to be the most undetectable. So make sure when you incorporate them into the cornrow, it's at the right place, so that it's a nice straight line. You don't want to start creating diagonal lines with these braids. Another thing I realized is that last braid can just go in the cornrow behind it. So I went ahead and pinned that away, and instead of incorporating it into that middle cornrow, which was getting thick, you can just go ahead and incorporate it into the cornrows that you're putting in the back of your head, and then that middle braid doesn't have to get so thick. So that's also a great tip, to just keep those going straight to the back. Both of those will go directly to the back. And I did the same thing on the other side. So this is how the braid pattern should look on either side. And once you have that done, we'll move on to the next step. So here's where you need to start creating the cornrows in the back, and it's super important that you create a cornrow in the middle of your middle part. This will give you more coverage, and it will hide a lot of the cornrows and box braids and things that are going on. So you want to make sure that you put this middle braid right in the center of your middle part. That is the only braid that makes any difference in terms of your cornrows. They can be as messy, as big, as bulky, a hot mess as you want, but just that middle braid needs to be directly in the middle of the center part. Total in the back, I think I have 6 braids, or maybe 7. And then I just went ahead and crocheted the end. These are the braids that I'm working with. They're 10-inch box braids with curly ends. It's a 7-pack, and I did get them from Amazon in a color 1B. They will be linked down below if you want to go ahead and grab these braids. The exact ones that I have will be linked below. So I really like these braids. They were very cute and easy to work with. The only downside that I have about these is that the knot is pretty large and pretty noticeable. I really wish this brand would come out with a style like this, but with a smaller knot, so it wouldn't call as much attention to itself. But outside of that, I think these braids are beautiful. They have a beautiful, healthy shine to them. They're soft and lightweight, easy to work with, and I absolutely love it. So I went ahead and just crocheted into each one of the boxes. This braid pattern is so easy to crochet into. It leaves zero guesswork. You literally just crochet into each box, and then you crochet over top of wherever the cornrow is showing. And it's just that simple. It's very, very easy. The thing you want to make sure of is when you're creating your boxes that you're creating them the same size as the braid. My boxes were a little bit small for braids this size and this width, but it still worked out fine. But you definitely want to measure your boxes to your braid so that they're the right size and width. So you're going to just crochet that front braid. Remember the one that you didn't put into a cornrow? You're going to crochet that in as an individual crochet. So you just put your latch hook through the braid and you pull your own hair through, and it disguises completely. This is the first bottom row, and you can see when you lift it up, it looks just like individuals, you guys. And I love that about this braid pattern. It's super versatile, and everywhere you part it and everywhere you lay your braids, it will give you that individual illusion of individual crochet. So just to show you again the way you crochet the individual braid, you just put the needle underneath, the hook underneath, you pull the end of the braid through the loop, and then you pull your own hair through the loop as well, and then you go ahead and crochet the latch hook through the braid in the middle of the braid, and then you go ahead and pull your own natural hair braid through that, and it will be perfectly disguised. So as you can see with this braid pattern, you get a nice natural density, you get a lot of great coverage, and it's really giving you that box braid look. It's not really giving you that crocheted over a cornrow look. It does still give you crochet only because the knots of these braids are pretty large, but that's really the only giveaway that is crochet. If the knots weren't so large, this would be absolutely disguised as individuals, and I love that. I think this hair is really, really cute, and I highly recommend it. I got so many compliments on this look. People were telling me I look like a teenager. And I was like, okay, at 37 years old, come on, teenager. But yeah, I absolutely loved this style. So I'm going to show you guys how I crocheted in the back. Very simple, very self-explanatory. I'm not going to do a whole bunch of explaining, but I will come back at the end and give you my final thoughts on this hair. So I went ahead and threw on some makeup, you guys. Very simple makeup. I'm going to show you guys my updated makeup routine because I feel like it's been a while. And people have been complimenting my makeup, and I'm like, y'all, this is literally like my effortless makeup look. I went ahead and used my Gleemade Edge Control. Gleemade is my own personal product line that you can find on Amazon Prime. I laid my edges down, and I'm just showing you guys the end results. I absolutely love this hair. Again, I'll say it again. It is from Amazon, $29, you guys, and I didn't even use the entire pack. I bought 2 packs and I only used one and still had one of the bundles left over. So highly recommend. Beautiful style for $30. Great length, not overwhelming at all, and looks absolutely stunning. Super versatile braid pattern, and yeah, I just have no complaints. Let me know what you guys think. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. Trying to get this channel back on the move, and I just appreciate you guys for watching and subscribing and giving me a thumbs up, because that super helps as well. And leave me a comment because it just means the world to me. Peace out.